Karen Whitmore stood in her perfectly manicured driveway at 6:47 am, clipboard in one hand, phone in the other, blocking the ambulance she had called herself just 12 minutes earlier. "Ma'am, you need to move your vehicle immediately," the paramedic shouted from the passenger window. "We have a medical emergency to respond to." Not until someone addresses the blatant HOA violation happening right in front of us, Karen replied, gesturing dramatically at her neighbor's house with her laminated violation notice. "That garden gnome is 3 inches over the property line, and I've documented everything." The irony wasn't lost on anyone present, least of all Karen's husband Bob, who was currently having chest pains on their kitchen floor while she conducted her morning community standards patrol. 20 minutes earlier, Karen had been measuring Mrs. Henderson's rose bushes with a retractable tape measure when she heard Bob's strangled cry from inside. She'd rushed in to find him clutching his chest, gasping about pain shooting down his arm. Without hesitation, she'd dialed 911, then immediately returned to her inspection duties because emergencies don't excuse neighborhood violations. "The ambulance can wait 2 minutes," Karen announced to the growing crowd of neighbors. "This is about property values and community standards. If we let one gnome slide, what's next? Pink flamingos? Plastic lawn chairs?" Mrs. Henderson, the elderly woman whose garden gnome had triggered this standoff, approached cautiously. "Karen, here. Bob needs help." "Can't this wait?" "Absolutely not, Dorothy. You've had 6 written warnings about that gnome. The HOA bylaws clearly state, Karen." Bob's voice cracked from the doorway where he'd managed to stumble, one hand pressed against the frame for support. "Let them through." She turned, clipboard still clutched defensively. For the first time that morning, she really looked at her husband. His face was gray, sweat beading on his forehead despite the cool morning air. Something flickered across her features, concern? Fear. But it vanished as quickly as it appeared. "The rules apply to everyone, Robert, even during inconvenient times." The lead paramedic radioed for backup and police assistance. This wasn't his first HOA Karen encounter, but it was definitely his most surreal. Behind him, his partner was already grabbing equipment, preparing to approach on foot. "Ma'am, if you don't move your vehicle, we'll have it towed," he warned. Karen's grip tightened on her clipboard. In her perfectly ordered world of measurements and regulations, she'd never encountered a situation where following the rules might actually be wrong. But as Bob slumped further against the doorframe, and she heard the distant sirens of additional emergency vehicles, a small crack appeared in her armor of absolute certainty. The question hanging in the morning air wasn't whether Karen would finally step aside, but whether she could live with whatever came next.